Hello, this is Roland. Welcome. Today I want to talk about stress, and maybe in a little different way than you've heard it talked about before. You see, stress has a spiritual aspect. In the Garden of Eden, you could say that Adam had a stress-free life. It was paradise. Everything was beautiful and wonderful. So what went wrong? He reacted to something on the outside. What did he react to? Well, he reacted to his wife's voice, and what she said was what she had been coached to say by the serpent. So the serpent introduced something into Adam's mind with which he began to doubt the way he was going. He began to doubt that he had it really so good. And he began to think, well, maybe he could have it better. Something better. Isn't it always that way? You have a car that's reasonably good, and then you buy a new car and spend way too much money for it. You have shoes that are comfortable. You buy new shoes and they're not comfortable and they cost a lot of money. You have something nice, serviceable, and you get something new. Why? Why? Sometimes you have to get something new because what you have is not working. But a lot of times you get something new. See, what's the old expression? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Have you heard that? Well, paradise wasn't broke. Adam thought he could make things better with a little effort on his part, and so he became ambitious to try something new, something different. Wasn't satisfied with what he had. Well, that was not good. So what was on the outside got on the inside. What he reacted to on the outside, his wife's voice, the words, the idea, the notion, got on the inside. And he was imprinted also by his wife, because he reacted to her. See, it wasn't her fault. It was what the serpent coached her to say. But whatever was there in the scene of the trauma, he reacted to and became imprinted by. So now what was on the outside was on the inside. The idea, the notion. See, the doubt. It wasn't even his doubt originally. The serpent cast doubt into him. The serpent said, did God really say that you wouldn't die? Hey, did he really say that? Or was he just testing you to see if you're man enough to try it on your own without him? See? So doubt got in. The images from the outside, the voice, the words, everything, it all got inside. And then what else got inside? Well, the forbidden food that he ate got inside. So do you see how what was on the outside got on the inside? And then paradise was lost. That's called corruption. See, corruption. Okay. Now listen to this. I want to read something. I just picked this book up. This is my book, A Brief Introduction to Stress Management. If you get my 4-part meditation, which is excellent, it's very beautiful, could do you a world of good. I call it the 4-part meditation, a classic meditation, and it's a suggested donation of $10. That's not a lot of money for what you get. And it helps me to stay on the air. Helps me a little bit. See, I have to buy the airtime on the radio. I pay for the internet access. I pay for everything. See, so a couple of bucks helps me. Okay? But here's the thing. If you get the 4-part meditation, you get this along with it. You get actually 2 ebooks, and this is one of them. A Brief Introduction to Stress Management. Listen to this. I'm reading from page 46. Let me see what it says on page 45. Let's start with chapter 6 on page 45. Understanding Resentment and Its Traumas. That's what we're talking about, when the outside gets on the inside. And it's called corruption. See, it's involved in everything that's gone wrong with you. And how does it get on the inside? Well, let's see what it says here. We all begin life as happy-go-lucky free spirits. Little children are naturally full of joy and happiness. But as the years go by, we increasingly become nervous, stressed out, preoccupied, and even depressed. What has gone wrong? Obviously, we lost what we once had. We tend to blame others for this loss of happiness. We blame our parents, our partners, society, our job. Finally, we might even blame ourselves. What has gone wrong? What has happened is that there has been an evolution of misery, beginning at a certain point and then spreading to blanket our whole mind. Let's look at what happened so that you might discover what the key to recovery is. You see, when you lost your carefree spirit, it was in a moment of upset, resentment, or shock. It began in a moment where you reacted to some external circumstance. In that instant, the outside got inside. And then, from its new home on the inside, it gradually began to take you over. Now, doesn't that pretty much describe what I just said about Adam in the Garden of Eden? The beginning of the corruption and the fall of the human race. And doesn't that pretty much describe what happened to you? How your life has gone wrong? The process is replicated every time we become upset and resentful, when we lose our faith, or when we lose loving kindness. See? So what protects you? See, the outside is out there. All the people that are full of anger and all the people that are tempting and teasing, cajoling, challenging, they're all out there with all their problems and all their turmoil. It's all out there. Okay? And the lies and the deceit. See? To confuse you, to upset you, to make you doubt. It's all out there, but it's out there. Do you remember when you were a little child? You were happy and carefree. If you can remember that far back. Kids are beaten and slapped and teased, hurt at a very young age, sometimes in the cradle. But if you came from a halfway decent home, then maybe you can remember when you were a little child and you were still carefree and happy. You hadn't been corrupted yet, and upset and traumatized. Remember how every day was a joy, a day of discovery, and all around you, there were people that were miserable and unhappy, and people who were depressed, and people who were lying and robbing and stealing and cheating, and people who were doing all kinds of bad things, and people who were all messed up. See, it was all going on, but it was like it was another world. See? It's like it was another world. And you lived in a beautiful world, a happy world. Well, that's something like what it is. That's the way we're supposed to be. When you live with a day with the Lord, a life with the Lord. When you live in God's light, in the now, in the eternal now, in God's presence, and His light, His love. See, it's like a force field around you that protects you from it. It's still out there. It doesn't get inside. That's the thing. It doesn't get inside. And so your rapport with that, see, is what you want to maintain. That's why I have the meditation, to help you refine it. And then some hints in the 4-part meditation. I give you hints about how to maintain it, how to go out in life without reacting and letting it get in. Now, what protects this meditative state, this state of in God's light, where you have a force field around you, a force field of faith, and a force field of love that keeps the bad out. So what maintains it? I just said it here. I said the process is replicated, the process of losing what you had as a little child is replicated every time we become upset and resentful, when we lose faith, and when we lose loving kindness. See? So patience protects it. Faith protects it. See? And not becoming resentful protects that state where you are with a force field around you. Okay? So, I think I've said a lot already. You could watch this video again and glean even more from it. Okay? Because therein, in this little brief introduction, see, if you receive it rightly, you can then flash on and realize and have insight about what happened to you. And you can see where you fall, what you've fallen to from, and what you've fallen from. And if you want to get that, what you fell from back, if you yearn for innocence and for goodness, see, and yearn to be right, you know you're not right now, but you can't make yourself right. See, that's more tease on the outside. People say you can by huffing and puffing and trying and setting goals and so on. See, they're everywhere. They're in church, they're in the pulpit, they're in schools, they're in universities, they're at work, the motivators. They're everywhere. And they tempt you, see, to be like them. But then when you find out that the force field that you had, that beautiful world that you had is gone. And then instead, now what you have instead is then a mind that's filled with millions of images of all the times that you've fallen. See? And your mind is awash with worries and fears and doubts. And what if this and what if that? And reliving the past and thinking about what happened. The traumas come back over, and they call it post-traumatic stress disorder. Everybody has it. Sometimes it's more obvious than others, but everybody has it. That's what it is. That's what happened to Adam after he fell, after he ate of the forbidden fruit, and he had PTSD. Okay. So now you see what the stress is in the environment. You see what the original stress is? It's evil. See, that wants to rob you, to take away what you have, because it doesn't have it, and it's jealous. And to corrupt you, and to turn you into one of its own. See? Now you see the spiritual side of all of this. So there's a psychology to it, and there's a spiritual aspect, a metaphysical aspect. Okay? It's not necessary for you to understand it all, although you can understand some of it more and more as time goes by, especially if you read my books. But what's important for you is to regain contact with the inner good, the inner light from God, so that you can have that force field put up and then go out in the world without reacting anymore. See? Then when you're not reacting anymore, you can calm down, and then in God's light, you'll also be able to then look at what's gone wrong through your millions of reactions up until the present. See? So it's actually very simple. There's nothing for you to do other than to meditate and yearn for the light and long for the light. Okay? My name is Rowan.